In Sweden it's legal to sell sex, but it's illegal to buy. This means that the prostitute isn't committing a crime, but the one who pays or attempts to pay for sex is. In Sweden you are officially an adult when turning 18. This means that you can get married, get an apartment, get a bank loan, get a subscription, go to the pub, get kids, get a driver's license, run a company, get a gun license and go to prison. But you cannot buy alcohol from the government-owned liquor stores until you are 20 years old. Those stores are also the only stores that sells alcohol over 3.5%. If you have unpaid bills, it is the Kronofogdens, enforcement authority, job to collect the department from you. This means that they can take whatever they want from you. The item's value is pulled from your debt. This is often collaborated with the police. They can take your car, your phone, jewelry, computer, machines, clothes, house, part of your salary or anything else they see any value in. They even take bulletproof vests from people wearing it, many of the times from criminals stopped and checked by the police in their cars. Sweden is one of the countries in the world with the highest taxes. There are many different kinds of taxes, some examples are: income tax, 33%, VAT on everything you buy, 25%, employer's fee, 31%, corporation tax, 22%. Some other taxes: benefits tax, vehicle tax, gambling tax, sailor's tax, petrol tax, diesel tax, exchange rate reserve tax, tax on interest on forest account funds, stamp duty at registration authorities, special payroll tax on pension costs, road toll tax, energy tax, waste tax, fertilizer tax, nuclear tax, lottery tax, natural gravel tax, advertising tax, sulfur tax, tobacco tax, alcohol tax, tax on profit savings. In Sweden, there is a proposal, that one should be able to change gender from the age of 12. This means that you should be able to apply for this without any examination or contact with healthcare. However, it must be approved by the parent and does not apply to surgical procedures. Two-thirds of Sweden's surface is covered by forest with a total forest area of 286,650 square kilometers. Half of the forest land is owned by individual private forest owners and a quarter by private limited companies. However, the largest forest owner is the Swedish state via Sveaskog AB. In 1974 Sweden made a deal with North Korea to sell 1,000 Swedish manufactured Volvo cars. The deal went as expected, except that Sweden has not got a single penny since then. Sweden is 40 years later sending North Korea demand letters to try to get their 3 billion kronor, which is about $300 million. In Sweden there are a ton of theme days in the calendar that can seem kind of odd. Cinnamon Bun Day, Pancake Day, Chocolate Ball Day, Semla Day, Pastry, Waffle Day. But they also got Marzipan Day, Hug Day, Tulip Day, Wine Day, Half Snow Day, Gingerbread Day, Crisp Bread Day, Comic Book Day, Cheese Doodle Day, Tomato Sauce Day, V8 Engine Day, Bus Driver Day, Mathematic Day, Carrot Day, Bipolar Day, Licorice Day, Lentil Soup Day, Beer Day, Nutella Day, Sweden Finnish Day, and lot more. Far from everybody celebrates these days, but they still got a day for most things. The chocolate ball is very popular in Sweden and has pleasured many lips since way back, since around 1940. In the early stages and for some reason people used to call it en-ball. And may be a common phrase for those from that time period. But still until this day many people, even those who are not from that era, calls it that. Many persist that it's the real name and means that it's not a bad word, because it is the name of the pastry. Even when people, and black, say it's a bad word to use, they persist and say it's not. Or that they don't care, because even if it's a bad word it's more important to keep the tradition, many times a tradition they don't even had. People even start Facebook groups named, Keep the N-Balls Day, with the intention of keeping the word. They can also print t-shirts, create tags, posters with this slogan. The majority of the Swedish people are celebrating holidays, especially Christmas and Easter, and is really important to them. This even when a large part of the population is not believe in God or Jesus. Sweden is one of the countries in the world that has most trust to their government. They usually accept what the government says without any major objections and rely on their word and judgment. For example, under the pandemic the government said that there's no reason to wear a face mask, even when the rest of the world used it and the EU Parliament recommended it. The Swedish people argument that there's absolutely no reason to wear it and said that it won't help, and that users and the rest of the world were more or less crazy. After a while the government recommended face mask and then the people listened to that and almost showed aggressive approach to the people who didn't wear a face mask and called them careless and egoistic people. And on the exact same day when the government removed the restrictions in the country, nobody used a face mask and overall acted like COVID-19 never existed, which happened over a night. Sweden has very long detention times, especially with restrictions. Which means that if you are arrested and assigned restrictions you are in a cell with no capabilities to contact anyone, not read newspaper, watch TV or see other inmates. You will be in a holding cell with no contact with the world. Most countries have a maximum time, but not in Sweden. You will be holed as long as the investigation is running and you could be holed for months or even years. The longest time a person has been holed is 4 years, and he was 20 years old. If you are found not guilty you will be released, when if found guilty you will be transferred to a prison and serve the rest of the sentence if there is time left to serve after being in the jail. Sweden has been criticized for this for many years, internationally, from EU, UN and human rights organizations. But still won't budge on this. Sweden is normally famous for standing up for human rights and follow the same path as the European Union. But for this matter they choose their own way. Sweden is normally a known peaceful country that stands up for equality and human rights with a welfare system that is beneficial for the people. But despite this they have the highest gun violence in all of Europe. The shootings are increasing every year and are usually connected to criminal gangs, where also more and more young people are involved. Even kids from 12 years of age. The violence also gets more brutal and recklessly where shooting of innocent people occur, bombings, shooting with heavy automatic weapons, executions, shooting through doors without knowing who's there and use of hand grenades. Number 14. Did you like the facts about Sweden? If so, please give a thumbs up.
And even more important, don't forget to subscribe so that we can get an indicator if our videos are wanted.